Hello, my Python scholars. As promised, I want to make sure that you understand about user input. This is the lesson 3.3. And of course, what is a user? Well, it is someone that is using the program that you've created. So it's a user input. So the programmer will program print hello world is what we want, and that's what the user will see on this side once the code is ran. So I want to share with you a couple of examples. So let's start with my underscore number equals 50 and print my number. And just so we can do this one by one, I'm going to do a hashtag to um, take that out so it won't run that way. So essentially you have created a variable here. I want to make sure we see that. So essentially my underscore number is your variable, and then we call it, that's what we associate it with it. We put print and then my number to call it. But let's see what happens here. So we're going to clear that, and then we're going to press run. What happened? Well, the assigned variable, because of this, what we like to call in math an equal sign, but in programming, we call it a sign. So my underscore number is assigned the value of 50. So it did what it needed to do. Bravo, bravo. The output is 50. So now let's go to another um, user and let's take a look. So we put name equals input. What is your name? And this is like a question. So we want to make it a question there. Now when I hit run, now it's going to look a little different because we're doing it on Code Sculptor. But it says, what's your name? So I'm going to say Dr. Me, right? And you're going to click enter, and voila, it actually has that output right here, Dr. Me, and it is all because you use this variable, you called it here, so it would print, and your output is there. Let me clear all of that. So when you are working with user input, you want to make sure that you are having questions that the user will know or be engaged to know. So in this lesson, you will learn how to write these types of programs that ask the users for this information. So for instance, this is enter your age, and they enter their age, but there also is a response. So it's like a conversation that is happening, and that's what you want to have as well. So when we are doing basic user input, we need a way to retrieve what the user types. So again, like I had mentioned, it is a variable is like storing information like in a jar, so you can keep it for later. So we store it in, and we want to really classify this as the input function. So this is a function that prints a prompt and retrieves the text from the user. So it's that user input. You don't know it, but the user know the information. So essentially, as we've done this here, we put name equals input. What is your name? So input, that is where you're retrieving the text from the user. You use the input function so that the prompted question can be answered by the user. And it pauses, and from that information from what was there. And we do this, I know some students was asking me, doing this. Well, it helps the code to be efficient and where you don't have to continue to write that same information as well. But let's take another look here. Here's a shortened version of that program. So we just say name, and then it pops up the person's name. But if you want to know what type of variable it is, and I think I mentioned this before, you will definitely print in parentheses, put type in the name, and it'll show us. So this is classified as a string. So if you're ever in doubt, you can definitely do that and figure out what type of data type it is. Same thing here. It asks the age input, but there's an error because numbers are not strings. So what you would like to do to fix this is we want to add in the data type of an integer, which is essentially a number. And let's see here. Let me show you. So again, it's like a conversation. Let's take a closer look at this line. So we have number equals int. So we want to do an input. That's what we usually do for it to wait. And we have to make sure the parentheses are there. Now it's a little bit harder. I usually count them, make sure 1, 2 on both sides. And it's an easy way to find your mistakes, okay? And there's that. We're going to actually, let me let you see this. See this up close. So if you're seeing it up close, let's take a look. Let's go here and type this in. Make sure you see this. Oops. So what happened? We didn't see an output. So essentially, what did we do differently? Well, we would have to make sure that we have the type conversion, which is called nesting of the functions, which is a little bit higher than what we've been doing. We want to make sure get it to print. So I made it print there. So I hope this was very helpful to you as a reminder of how to use the inputs, even using it in the way of numbers as well as strings. So I definitely hope that this has been helpful and maybe a refresher, and just real quick going over in this lesson of commands. Again, we have the input, we have the int, which is an integer, and then the int, integer, int input for that prompt. It gets the input from the user and it changes. So I hope this was very helpful. Again, happy coding.